the ghost.
My hospital experience with a ghost.
Talking about my hospital experience with my ghost.
All right, well, here we are. Now I'm recording. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Are you gonna intro us in, Pat?
Yeah. Way to steal my thunder.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay. Welcome to the What Do the Gays Think podcast. For another installment of the Pride Month edition. Just when you thought you couldn't handle more gay down your throat. Picture your open throat.
Picture your open throat. No, okay. I was talking to Pat about 5 minutes ago about how I was in the hospital for like a hot minute. And it's because
you said it was hours.
Okay, when I say a hot minute, it was because like I was there for half a day and it wasn't that big of a deal. I was in the hospital for a hot minute because I felt like I couldn't breathe. So I was talking to Pat. I was like, here's how it felt. Picture your open throat. And then picture you could only get so much air through your open throat.
Yeah. And now that we're all picturing our open throats, let's open our minds to today's topic. But first, I'm joined by TikTok influencer and good friend of the podcast.
Good friend
Matt.
of the podcast.
How are you, Matt? What's up? How's your open throat?
My open throat, my open thrusty is doing pretty good. How's your thrusty?
No complaints yet.
No complaints yet. Are you chewing gum?
I am chewing gum because I'm a little tired and I'm very yawny, and it helps me to keep my mouth busy so I don't yawn as much on the podcast.
You need to keep your mouth busy, I see.
I do.
You need a little pacifier, big baby boy.
I'm a big little baby, and sometimes I like big milky.
Sometimes I like big milkies. I hate TikTok. TikTok is cursed. Oh my god. I can't stand it.
Okay. Anyway, so another installment of the Pride episodes. We are now on our 4th episode of the month. Only one more episode left, and then Pride is over. It's a wrap.
Isn't this our last Pride episode? I think so. Or do we have one more?
There are 5 Tuesdays in June.
Right, so our last Pride episode will come out on the last day of June, right? Is it the last day?
I think so. Let me open my calendar. No, Wednesday is the last day of June.
Oh, bullshit. Well, happy Pride. Happy Pride Month anyway to everyone who is listening to the podcast, who is part of the LGBTQ plus community.
Yeah, what are you doing here? How did you find us, and why are you listening?
That's just... how did you find us? You know, if you're a new listener and you're finding this episode for some reason, go ahead and give us a tweet on our Twitter. Our Twitter is WDTGT podcast, or you could just search What Do the Gays Think podcast and you'll find us there. Tweet at us and tell us how you found us, because why are you listening to this? I don't know.
I also want to know, for market research, I want to know where I should send the targeted ads.
Oh, yeah, obviously. Because we're secretly, as you're listening to this podcast, we're secretly collecting your data so that we can send you targeted ads.
Yeah, I'm seeing all your search history, and I'm seeing a lot of pup play.
Oh.
Which I won't shame you for, because I do believe kink belongs at Pride.
Did you see that TikTok that I sent you, Pat, about the SpongeBob episode?
Which one?
The one episode of SpongeBob where they're like, oh, pets are allowed in this town? And then the guy, the literal fish...
Yes. You want to go for walkies? Yes. Do you want to go for walkies?
And I thought to myself, if this shit is allowed on SpongeBob, then this shit is allowed at Pride. I don't care what people say.
Listen, there you go. You heard it here first, ladies and germs.
Ladies and
germs. Matt sides with kink at Pride. I mean...
I do side with kink at Pride. What I don't side with is public indecency.
Too bad you're not going to Pride. Blech.
I'm not going to Pride because I had a prior commitment that I didn't realize overlaid with Pride. And also, you were like, I don't know if I'm going to Pride. So, like, what do you want from me?
I was a bit worried at first about the whole COVID thing, but since, it seems like people are getting vaccinated and the numbers are still going down, and I'm vaccinated, I'm not too worried about it.
Well, if you go to Pride, then let me know how it is.
Oh, you'll see on my stories.
On your Snapchat stories and whatever.
Yeah, you'll see.
And then we'll have a podcast episode where you tell me all about your amazing stories at Pride.
Oh, if I remember them.
If you remember. Anyway, so this episode, this is going to be more of a serious... Well, it doesn't have to be serious. I don't really care.
Yeah, I think we're gonna get deep.
We're gonna get deep into it. We're gonna talk about our coming out experiences,
Yeah.
and how we went about doing it, and how it was terrible for both of us, well, or
Okay,
how
well,
we went about it.
I don't look back on mine and think it was terrible. I don't know about you.
Well, okay, it could have been better.
Of course. Oh yeah, all coming out experiences could have been better.
Yeah,
But I
some
don't
people
think.
have like those very nice coming out stories, and it's like, well, that wasn't me.
I think mine's not bad. I don't think mine's like bad.
Okay,
But
here, let's preface this. I have a couple questions that I have prepared. Um,
oh,
so I'll start with this one. When did you first realize that you were gay?
girl, I was 10. Wait, I've told you this before. Whatever year Fable came out for the Xbox, that's when I realized I was gay.
The what
Um,
fable?
yeah, 2004. So I was 10. About. You know. Let's see. It came out September 2004. I was gay in September of 2004.
So
I
was
mean, I was
the
gay my entire life.
well, yeah, obviously we're all gay our entire lives, but in terms of
Yeah.
when you realized it, you were 10. Now, when you realized it,
Yes.
did you know? I guess did you know that it was you being gay, or were you just like, oh, I like this man's?
I was like, ooh, I like this man's.
Right,
Because I don't think I even knew the word gay yet.
right,
Well, I'm sure my dad had used it to tease me because that's the kind of man he was. Um,
and I oop.
and I oop. But I don't. Yeah, when it happened, I didn't go, "Oh, I'm gay." It was more like, "Oh my God, this boy is so cute, and he has an
Oh,
Xbox." Ooh.
oh,
Even at the young age of 10, I was trying to like marry up for someone's, possessions.
oh, hello. You being that good
Yeah.
sub?
No, I was being a gold digger. That's different.
Ah!
I was like, he has an Xbox. Ooh, okay.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so for me then, when did I
Oh yeah,
realize that?
you.
When did I realize that I was?
When you looked at me in high
I had a
school.
different experience. What did you say? When I looked at you? That's exactly when I realized. No.
Yeah.
I had a different experience. I didn't realize until I was much later down the
Yeah.
pipeline. I was also
Which pipe?
which pipe? Um, so I, you know how people are always like, oh, I knew I was gay because when I was younger and I was a kid, I used to have crushes on boys instead of girls.
Yeah.
Like, I never had that. Like,
You never.
all of my younger crushes were always girls. Did you feel that?
Oh, no. I lied about it a lot though. People would be
Right.
like, "Who do you like? Do you like someone?" I'm like, "Yeah, I like Samantha. Or I like
Oh, I like.
Sasha." Um, oh, this bitch. Oh, quickly.
Oh.
This bitch. Not okay. We were in middle school, so she was a bitch in middle school. I don't know what she's doing now with her life. We were in history class. Mr. Yanizelli, or whatever his name was. I forget. Yanenzelli? I don't know. He was an attractive man, though. I was crushing on him,
Hello,
honestly.
the teacher.
He was this young history teacher who was taking over for the older one who was retiring, and he came in like mid semester or some shit.
Mhm.
We were sitting down. Errol was in my class, I'm pretty sure. We were sitting down, and
Errol.
I was sitting next to this girl. I think her name was like Natalia, Natasha, Talia, something like that,
Mhm.
Sasha. And she was like, "Who do you like?" And I'm like, I don't like anyone. Like, leave me alone.
Leave me
And she basically said this: "Tell me who you like, or I'm gonna tell the teacher you're harassing me."
What?
And I looked at her and I was like, "What do you mean?" So I, being my gay closet itself, was like, "Well, I can't tell her like who I actually like." So I was like, "Oh, I like this girl, whatever her name was."
Right.
And then she said something like, oh, like, ooh, scandalous. And I was like, what the fuck is going
She
on?
definitely liked you. She wanted to say that you liked
Yeah.
her.
She
Obvi.
definitely liked me and she wanted me to like convince or confess my emotions, but way to like blackmail me. Like, you tell me, I'm gonna tell a teacher that you've been harassing me. And I was like,
Middle school kids are such. Oh my god.
she was
They're
such a
such
bitch.
little.
Hopefully she's fine now.
Middle school kids are such bastards, though. Like all of them.
So no, I didn't crush on girls at all. But you did. How were they? Tell me about your first crush. Do you remember it?
Who was my first crush? Yeah, I think I knew who my first crush was. In fifth grade, I had a crush on this girl named Ashley. Yes.
Ooh.
And it was like I liked her a lot, and I'm pretty sure like later in life, like I messaged her on Facebook, and she told me that she liked me too, which I thought was interesting. This was like in college.
You
I was like,
slid into
wow.
her DMs.
Well, we were also like really good friends, so we were just chatting as like, oh, like remember when we did this, did that, etc. Kind of
Did she go to
reminiscing.
high school with us?
No, she moved away. So yeah, unfortunate.
Oh my God, love lost. I'm so sorry for you.
Love lost. I'm still friends with her on Facebook though.
Oh my
She's
God.
married now with a child.
Well, not with you. I know that.
Not with me. No, not with me. But yeah, all I never crushed on a boy.
Mm.
And I see. There's also a thing with me as well. Like I'm not. I am gay, but I'm also. I think I consider myself to be pan-romantic now. Um, in which I can develop feelings for anyone.
I'm I spoiler alert, listeners, I knew this already.
Yes.
But wow, you really just came out again on the podcast.
Yeah, whoever's listening. Yeah, so
Wow.
because for me, I think that you can separate romantic and sexual feelings. And for
Yeah.
me, I can have romantic feelings for anybody, but I can only have sexual attraction to men.
I
But
mean, yeah, I can see why.
yeah, I can see why. Um,
Oh,
but yeah,
oh.
given societal norms of our society, I don't think it's that I never let myself crush on boys. I just never did. I just always crushed on girls.
Right, you were
Um,
predisposed to ladies.
yeah. And then, so it took me a while, like, and to realize that I was actually gay. It probably took me until I could feel sexual attraction to people. And
Mm.
you probably know this, but I was a late bloomer in high school, a very late bloomer.
You looked like
I
a baby for a while.
Yeah, I didn't have sexual attraction until I was probably like 15. So it probably took me until
Really?
then to realize that I had a sexual attraction to men. Yes.
So do you want to talk about your awakening?
What do you mean?
So, like, one day you're just sitting there, you look at a man, and then you just like realize, oh my God, oh my God.
Yeah, I was looking at naked men on the internet, okay? It'd be that way.
Here's the thing. I know a lot of men experience, a lot of gay men, a lot of gay people maybe experience this. You're on the internet. You're young.
You're
You're
young.
on the internet. Looking at gay porn, obviously.
Hmm.
You watch your gay porn, and then afterwards you feel that sense of shame,
Yeah.
probably tied to the shame of masturbation as well. Like how any sort of sexual pleasure to yourself is, by society standards, not good.
Yeah.
But then you go right to the straight porn, the palate cleanser.
Yeah, you try. You try to make it better. Or you try to hit at the lesbian
you,
porn.
yeah,
Like,
you try to rationalize it so much. You're like, oh, I did watch that, that bareback, raw dog gay sex. But if I just switch over to, stepmom and son study for Spanish, I'll be straight again.
oh my God, you know what? Oh my God. When did The Sims 3 come out? Hang on.
What? What does that have to do with anything?
Hang on. The Sims 3. Because, you know what?
Did you make your Sims fuck and they were gay?
I may have done. Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
it
The
may have
truth
been a
comes
little
out.
earlier, actually. The Sims 3 came out in 2009. When was that? When was that for us? Freshman year? It was around that time then. I was probably 14-ish. Yeah. 14-ish, 15-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember. I had a Sims game, and I didn't know that you could make the Sims gay. But then just one time, like I had one of my Sims flirt with another man, and I was like, "Ooh, what's happening here?"
Yeah, you were like, wait, this is an
This is
option.
a
This is
thing that
on
I
the
can do in this game.
This is on the menu.
And then yeah, I made two male Sims fuck. So maybe that's not when I realized that I was gay, but I was like, "Ooh, what's happening here?"
Oh, they're in the bed now.
Oh, here we are. Did you ever play The Sims?
Oh, I loved it growing up. I played the first Sims so much growing up.
Oh, the first Sims. I played The Sims 2 and 3. Those were my games.
Yeah, I played Sims, Sims 2, and then I didn't really play much of Sims 3.
Sims 3 was pretty good. Anyway, so my next question here that I have is, so we talked about when we realized that we were gay, but like when did you acknowledge that about yourself?
Oh, like I looked in the mirror and was like, "You're gay."
You're gay, you're a homosexual. Like,
Um, it was probably, let me think. So I knew when I was 10 that I liked the men.
right.
Um, but let me think. When did I like really know I was a homo sword swallower through and
Mm.
through? I'm gonna say I probably really knew. I mean, shortly after I had those inclinations for that one boy when I was 10, like it was only men after that,
Hmm.
that I felt things for. But I guess I really put the word gay to myself probably when I was like 14, maybe.
Hmm.
Um, because I was getting on the internet more.
Wink,
And I
wink.
would, I would peruse certain websites.
Hmm.
Particularly, I would peruse chat rooms and talk to other gay people.
Oh, ooh,
Yeah,
scandalous.
I had to investigate. I had to do my research. I had to get other people's first accounts on their homosexuality.
How did people how did people secretly look up gay porn before the internet was a thing?
Well, you had to listen. Oh, easy. Okay. This is what you do, all right?
Okay.
Your parents have HBO
Right.
or some sort of prestige channel growing up. You wait until 2, 3 in the morning. You turn it on. If you're lucky, you'll get some like pseudo porn,
Right.
where it's like the emphasis is on the sex, not the plot, but it's not full on, you can't see everything.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then you wait for that like 10% chance that it's gay. And that's how you do it.
10%.
Yeah, that's
That
how you
just
do
seems so
it.
difficult instead of just looking
Oh,
up
it
gay
is.
porn on the internet.
Well, we didn't have, well, we had a computer, but I wasn't going to risk it.
Mm.
I didn't know how to clear my browsing history back then.
I'll risk it for the biscuit.
You go on my computer back in the day, you type the letter D and you just see dick down
Dick.
for days.
Dick down for what an alliteration. Dick down for days.
I love that, what is that? Consonants.
Hmm. What is it? An alliteration? Yeah, an alliteration.
Yeah, but consonants is specifically the repetition of a consonant sound, isn't it?
Uh, I don't know. Is it?
This is
What are we
not an
talking about?
English. This is not an English podcast. So what? Wait, you asked me. Oh yeah. So when did you know that you were gay? Gay? Like when did you put two and two together?
Um,
Was it The Sims?
The Sims? No. So yeah, like I said, I didn't really understand that I could separate my romantic slash sexual feelings.
Yeah.
So again, like I developed real feelings for ladies.
Right.
And you know that I had a girlfriend for a hot min.
I met her like once.
Yeah. It was for a hot min. But then eventually, like, I obviously couldn't get any sexual attraction from it. So I had to eventually come to agreement with myself, like, okay, I legit am not sexually attracted to women. And I
Yeah.
may have these feelings romantically, but I can't perform on them sexually. So I need to end this relationship. And I did.
A very adult thing to do, honestly.
But I did it in a very not adult way, though. I sent her a text message. I said, "Hey, look, I realized that I'm gay." I went straight for it in a text message. I feel really bad about it. I could,
Well, okay. Hold on.
yeah.
Were you guys like near each other at the time? Like, could you easily have walked over, gotten to her personally?
I had just seen her, and then she had left my house. Um, and then that's when I came.
Hmm.
That's when I like sat down. I was like, okay, let me introspect about this. And then I was
Right,
like,
right.
okay, here we are.
You know,
So she was not with me when I had my introspection.
honestly, in today's society, as a millennial and having my phone, I honestly might, if it's a long-term relationship, I don't want to be broken up with over text or phone.
Yeah.
But if it's like just for a couple months kind of thing, I don't know how long you and yours were dating, but
It
if
was
I was
longer
in a
than a couple months, but less than a
right,
year. Less than a year.
okay, if it was a couple months for me, I'd be like, sure, break up with me over text. But if it's a long-term relationship, no, we are going to sit down and you're going to tell me why you're traumatizing me.
Right. Well, I sent the text first, and then I sat down with her, and I was like, okay, let me explain what happened.
Right, you were like, let me show you my browser history really quick, and she was like, wow, that's a lot of
That's a lot of
adult gay
gay.
porn.
That's a lot of dick. What happened there?
Yeah, yeah.
So coming to my next question, who was the first person you told that you were gay?
Um, well, here's the thing. I told many a man on the gay chat rooms that I was frequenting.
Okay,
Um,
okay. But like person that
the
you knew personally.
right, right. The first person of note to tell was my sibling, Cade, and I don't know. I'll just okay. Basically, if you want me to expand on it, I can. If not, we won't get into it. Basically, I had met a man's over a chat room because
Mhm.
Grindr didn't exist, kids, back then, right?
Kids.
And I didn't have a smartphone because smartphones were scarce and they were expensive and they were for the rich, and I wasn't rich.
Ooh.
So I had my LG phone, and I
My
had
flip
my
phone.
okay,
Here we go.
my flip phone, and so I found this person on a chat room, and we met up in real life, and I easily could have been murdered. Thankfully, he was exactly who he said he was. I did try to vet him before I went, ask him the same question like 5 times, see if the same answer pops up.
Right.
And make a long story short, that was the first man that I went on a date with, and unfortunately, he was very pressuring of me coming out, and that's what kind of propelled me to come out,
Right.
which is not a fun experience, which I can get into if the question comes up. But then I basically told my sibling as the first person.
You know what? That wasn't a question that I had. Like, what made you come out? But I mean, you can go into it if you want. That
Okay,
I
here we
leave it.
go.
I leave it up to you. I don't want to pressure you
No,
to
I
tell me
don't
your
care.
story.
Basically, this happened. Met a guy on a chat room, went to go visit him. We were just talking, there were no expectations.
Right.
Had my first kiss with him, my first man on man kiss.
Wow.
You think it would be magical, right?
No.
This whore.
Oh.
I kissed him. We weren't making out. Just kissed him. He was like, "You're not good at that."
Oh my god. How rude.
And I literally was like, "You're the first person I've kissed. Obviously, I'm not gonna have the
Obviously, I'm
experience."
not good at it.
There is a way to tell people that they're not good at kissing, or don't say they're not good. Just say, "Oh, you're not. Let me try something. Like, let
Right.
me show you what I like. Like, just because I don't like what you're doing at the moment doesn't mean you can't do what I like."
Hmm.
Anyway, we hang out. We get a little make out, freaky deaky stuff.
Right.
Nothing overtly sexual, thankfully. And basically, we're like texting, and he's like starting to catch feels.
Oh.
And I was like, I don't want to date
Was he
anyone.
someone in our high school?
No, no, this was in state, but out of town.
Out of town. Okay.
I was not a local to where he lived. I was
Hmm.
incognito.
Incognito.
So he was catching feels, and I was like, I don't want to date anyone until I'm out of the closet. And he's like, well, then come out. And ladies and germs, never come out for anyone else.
Oh yeah.
Only come
No.
out for yourself. Don't come out for a relationship. Don't come out for a person. Only come out for yourself when you feel it is safe to do so. And you have a support system to catch you should any bad stuff happen. So he's pushing me. And he wants to do some more freaky deaky stuff. And I didn't bring the appropriate tools, and he's trying to push me.
Oh. Mm.
So I was like, no. Anyway, I tell my sibling, and then I tell my mom and dad, or my mom and my stepdad, and then my sibling tells my dad because I didn't want to talk to him because he was kind of homophobic, or he made a lot of homophobic jokes. So I was
Right.
afraid that he would not take it well. And then finally, um, I tell him that I came out, and he wants to date. And then at the end of the day, I was like, this is totally new, and I'm not looking to get locked down into a relationship too fast. So I told him no, and he got upset with me, and he didn't want to speak to me again.
Oh well. Have you spoken to him again since?
No, no.
No.
He also
Okay.
told me about how he used to be like a drug addict slash alcoholic. So,
Oh, getting real deep in there.
and he was young. He was like my age. I was like, wow, you have a lot of drug problems for someone so young.
So how old were you when this happened?
I was 16 and he was like 17.
Aw, that's cute.
Not really. I wouldn't suggest to anyone finding your first experience on a chat room
Okay,
and
chat
coming
room.
out for them. Like it wasn't it I look back on it and I don't really enjoy it. Like it's not a bad time. It's not like I hate that I did it. Like it just I have to accept that it happened. But
Right.
I could envision such better alternatives, obviously.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, right. So the first person you came out to. So anyway, no.
Anyway, interesting. My sibling, yes. How about you? Who was the first person you came out to?
You know who it was.
Do I?
The first person I came out to was you. Hello.
Oh. And was I helpful?
You were helpful, yes. This was during my introspection. I said after I had just seen my girlfriend. And
Yeah.
I was like, okay, well, I need to talk to someone about this. And I know a very lovely person who's out of the closet already. My very
I
good
sure
friend,
was.
Patrick Fardella. So I messaged
Yeah.
you over text. I was at school. I was a 20-year-old boy.
I
Uh,
was laying in bed.
yeah, I was in my bed as well, but I was having a panic attack. Um,
Oh, fair, fair.
but yeah, I texted you. Honestly, I don't remember exactly what we talked about. I'm pretty sure I was just like,
Um,
yeah, I think I'm gay and I'm freaking out.
I think I said something along the lines of, um, like take time to think about it. Only come out when you feel ready, and like either way, I support you. It was something like that, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure it was something. I think
Yeah.
I told maybe another person later, not that night, but I think the next day I told someone else too. I think I told Michelle Barrero, the next day.
Called out on the podcast.
Called out. I don't know if she listens to the podcast, but I told Michelle Barrero the next day, and I also texted my girlfriend the next day as well.
Well,
Uh,
she needed to know.
yeah, and then from there, shit kind of hit the fan a little bit in terms of what happened after that. And again, I'm not gonna name names on like who I was dating at the time, but when we broke up, essentially she told her friends, which is fine, honestly. Well, I mean, I guess it's not fine, but she had needed her own support group, so I was okay with it. So she
Right.
told her friends, but her friends told a lot more people.
Yeah, that's where it gets a little messy because,
Yeah,
she was in the relationship, so she kind of, gets to own how it ended.
yeah. It does. It's a little gray, I'd say. What I don't like is how her friends went off and told more people,
Right.
because the people that were told were also people that I knew. So there was a very extensive, probably like a month period of time, where I think I was just outed pretty much to a lot of people that I knew already without having told them.
Yes.
And I was also embarrassed because like I was in a relationship with her and then I broke up with her because I was gay. So I was embarrassed about that because I felt really bad.
Hmm.
So there was about a month's period of time where I just like hid away and I did not go onto campus because I lived off campus at the time. I just hid away. I didn't go onto campus, and when I did, I avoided public places because I didn't want to see anybody that I knew because I was just really embarrassed.
I
Um,
mean, totally fair emotions to have.
Emotions to have, yeah, and like also a lot of my friends at the time were also her friends, so I kind of lost that though. I lost because they were all her friends originally, so I lost
Yeah.
a lot of my friends to her side. So I was also very
Yeah.
lonely too.
I didn't realize how sad you were.
It was a sad month. But I also don't tell this story very often either. But the person who like brought me back out into existence was Jackie. I don't know if I told you this.
I no, but I assumed.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
because I met Jackie in one of the clubs that we were in, but she's the one who brought me into like our larger current friend group, I'd say, because she was in this like art department. And she brought me in one day to like the room that they all hang out with, and I hung out with all of them. I really liked them, and then I kind of solidified myself into that friend group, and It
Yeah.
was all because of Jackie. It was very helpful.
Well, Jackie, if you're listening, which of course she listens.
Of course. I mean, come on.
She's a regular co-host of this podcast.
Obviously.
If you're listening, Jackie, thank you for saving Matt when I couldn't, because I was too busy having my own problems at the
Having your own
time.
problems. Um,
Ah.
so yeah, I mean that's basically what happened. Jackie definitely helped pull me out of the loneliness that I was in. So I credit Jackie for that. Thank you, Jackie. I appreciate you.
Mm.
Did you have any kind of experience like that after you came out? What was your after coming out experience like?
Oh, well, like I see, I told my sibling, I told my mom and my stepdad, who were both cool about it. And my sibling told my dad, who was, cool about it.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was a little embarrassed about all the jokes that he had made. Good for him. But then afterwards, what happened? I mean, I was out, but like I didn't tell the whole, school yet. Uh, I told the friend group, you guys, a little bit over time. It was first my friend Pat, and then I think it might have been Trevor next, and then it sort of just trickled out from there. And then yeah, nothing happened because like there was no need to like tell other people until I was like dating someone, and then I started dating someone. And then I like put it on Facebook, and then at that point a lot of people knew just from my updated relationship status.
Right.
And it was funny because I remember the day going to school after I updated it and being so nervous.
Rightfully
Because
so.
because for like no reason to really be nervous because like no one cared, or at least the people who cared weren't going to say anything, and like I didn't know many people to begin with, so it wasn't like I was some popular commodity. Like yeah, we were I think the only out couple in our class at the time,
Yeah.
but like I was walking around like, oh my god, I hope no one's gonna
I
stare
hope
at
no
me.
one's staring at me. I think that's a
No.
logical. I think that's a logical thing to think about, honestly. Even though at the end of the day, nobody really cared. Um,
Yeah. Well,
but
except for one kid.
oh well, we don't have to talk about him. I know who you're talking about though.
Yeah, he decided not to talk to me ever again, and rude because
Rude.
he lost a cool person.
I wonder if he's still homophobic. Do you think he still is?
I think he might be because I'm pretty sure his homophobia was ingrained in a religious slash cultural reason.
Right.
And I think if you keep that reason till senior of high school, it might stick.
Well, I mean, I don't necessarily agree with that. I think people, especially when they go to college, have a lot of chances to break away from the norms that their family has established onto them. I think
Hmm.
there's a chance he could have broken away from it, but who knows?
How about you ask him and you let me know?
I don't think I'm friends with him on Facebook.
I think John is. I'll ask John to do it.
I'm pretty sure when he said that he wouldn't talk to you again, I unfriended him on Facebook.
Remember, he never said he wouldn't talk to me again. He just did talk to me again.
So Pat,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you don't have to talk about this if you don't want to.
Oh, ooh, ooh, what is it?
But I remember when you came out, you first told me that you were bisexual.
Yes.
Um, Now, was that at the time, did you actually think that, or was that a stepping stone? And again, you don't
I
have to talk about this
think.
if you don't want
Oh
to.
no, I'm pretty sure I've said this early on in the podcast when we were talking a little bit about bi erasure. Um,
Oh, we may
yeah,
have.
because I 100% used bisexuality as a way of avoiding being labeled strictly gay, even though I knew I was, because I didn't want. Really, it wasn't really for me. It was for other people around me, because
Hmm.
particularly like my mom and my parents, I didn't want them to completely lose the idea of having biological grandkids and seeing me married to a woman.
Yeah.
It wasn't really about other people's perceptions, about my family's perception, which, as I said before, which I'm pretty sure I've said in an earlier episode, but if I hadn't, I will say again on live air,
Live.
recorded for all to hear forever, that you should not do this. Like if you honestly think or feel you're bisexual, great, say it. If you want to, or don't come out when you're safe. If you honestly feel bisexual, if you honestly are bisexual, great, you are what you are, awesome. But if you're a gay man or a, whatever else besides bi, do not use it as a stepping stone
Yeah.
because it does support this myth that bisexuality is just a stepping stone for people who are becoming gay and haven't figured it out yet.
Yeah.
So please, if you are gay, for example, if you're gay and you won't want to say it yet, just don't say it yet.
Yeah.
You know, don't come out. When you're going to come out as gay. Don't come out as bi when you know you're gay. If you think you're bi, fine. If you truly think so, do it. But if
Yeah.
you know you're not, then don't do it.
Just not as a stepping stone.
Yeah, I've learned from my mistakes. I'm willing to own my mistakes. It was terrible.
I remember when you messaged me that you were bi slash gay.
Yeah. Yeah, slash gay.
Slash gay. It was over Facebook Messenger, I remember.
Yeah, I think that's how I told most people, honestly.
Yeah, and then you were like, so how does that make you feel about me? And I was like,
Well, yeah.
I was like, I feel no different about you.
I had to test. I had to get people's. That's what I said to my friend Pat too, because at the time, well, still is. He's my oldest friend, so I was like, "Hey, like, are you cool with this?" He's like, "Yeah, why wouldn't I be?" And I'm like, "Listen, you hear horror stories,
Yeah, I hear it
about people who lose family and friends."
Oh my god, I just thought it was funny because at the time before you came out,
You were like,
there was always the
watching
joke.
gay porn.
Oh well, probably. I mean,
Probably.
But before that, there was the running joke that I was in love with you.
Yeah, and it wasn't a joke.
It wasn't a joke. I obviously was. No. No, the running joke that I would say obsessed with you, and I definitely was. But
yeah, that you can own up to. Yeah, the obsession.
And then you were like, so yeah. Once you came out, you were like, so yeah, are you still obsessed with me? And I was like, of course I am.
I mean,
and it only got worse from there.
Yeah, you were like, now I'm even more obsessed with you. Yeah. So
now we know why.
You went straight gay, right?
Mm-hmm.
Straight gay.
Straight gay. I went straight from straight to gay.
Yeah. Yeah. Do not pass go. Go directly to gay.
I went directly to jail. Yeah, directly to gay. No, there was no stepping stone. I just kind of, it was like a huge shift for me. I think it was a little bit of a shock for me in general because I literally went from being in a relationship to a girl to finally accepting the fact that I was gay and then just going for it.
Yeah. Dick first.
Dick first. And then from there was like, I had to obviously change my mindset about everything because, first of all, like I said, I was only ever romantically attracted to girls. So I think I had to like let myself be romantically attracted to guys. And it's like not something that I had ever really thought about before. Like, you know, you said, oh, you know, when I was younger, I saw myself being with a man. I never had that. I never saw myself dating or marrying a man. So it took me a while to put myself in the mindset to be able to be in a relationship with a man instead.
Right, so you thought of like cuddling with a man and you were like, oh, this is weird. This is new.
Honestly, yes. Like I thought when I first started thinking about that, I was like, this is not something that I've ever thought about before. And can I get myself there? Obviously, eventually I did. I have a boyfriend now for 5 years.
Humble brag.
Humble brag. So do you, bitch. So do you.
Humble brag.
Humble brag.
Yeah.
But yeah, it took me a while to get there. I had to crush on a couple of guys in between. Some of them were straight, some of them were not.
Oh no! Oh, well, let's talk about the straight crushes.
Okay, you had a straight crush?
Oh yeah. Oh well, okay. I had a straight crush that turns out years later he was like, he said, if you brought it up, we probably could have done stuff together. And I was like,
oh my God, what?
Didn't you tell me at the time? And then he was like, yeah, well, if we're ever like hanging out, we'll see what happens.
Hello?
And then he died.
Oh my God.
And I'm laughing because I'm allowed to laugh at my friend's death and no one else's. And if you do,
that's why
awful.
I'm not laughing.
But yeah, but when we were younger, like when I was in high school, I was like, oh, this kid is so cool. Straight.
Mm-hmm.
Told me about all of his sexual exploits with women, and I was like, ugh, I don't want to hear about this. But then, yeah, years later, he was like, yeah, I totally would have open to it. And I'm like,
well,
and it told me earlier, and then he died. How about you? How about your straight crushes? Were they ever, did they do more harm than good?
I wouldn't say they did more harm than good. Um, Obviously, never crush on a straight guy. I think it's a bad idea in general. Especially if you like think that they're gay, but they haven't said it themselves yet. Um, just don't get involved in that.
Right.
But yeah, so the straight crush that I had was this person who would probably never come out as gay, nor
Do I know this
probably was
person?
not gay. No, I don't think you do.
Shit. Well, tell me later. I want to know.
Okay, well, but yeah, so this person was not gay, definitely straight.
Okay.
But I was holding on to the hope that he could be gay, but like
Of
no,
course.
but of
Of
course,
course.
yeah. Um, but I think it was good for me in general to crush on a guy because again, I had never thought of myself crushing on a guy before, so the fact that I was a good step for me.
Right.
Um,
A step in the right direction.
yeah, and then I went on to crush on a gay guy, which was a lot better. Um, and then yeah, then I met my boyfriend currently, and we were all good from there.
Wow. We love character development.
We do love character development. But yeah, don't crush on your straight guys.
I mean, unless you think they're, open to a little bit of Listen, okay. Go into it knowing you may get your feelings hurt, but if you go into it with that mindset knowingly, you take on the risk.
You take it
But there
on.
could but there could be possibly reward. I know of stories of gay men who have gotten with quote unquote straight men, and they did it, and it was successful. There are of course other times where if it wasn't so successful, so always be able to gauge your safety, obviously. Um,
Oh,
like
here's a
free
good
flag
question.
fry.
Oh,
Yeah.
here's a good question for you, and this is the last one that I have.
Okay.
Did you ever have a bad experience besides with the high school person that we were talking about? Did you ever have a bad experience coming out to somebody?
Um, no, I mean, thankfully with, my family and where we lived, it was more like liberal-ish.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't think I've ever had a bad experience. I mean, that one kid decided to never speak to me again. Rest in peace.
Rest in
My
peace.
my grandmother was a bit iffy about it. She was just like, "You shouldn't post it on Facebook." And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
"Why?" And she goes, "Well, if you ever want a job, they might look at it." And I was like, "It's not LinkedIn, Grandma.
Grandma.
No one's looking at my private Facebook for my relationship status." But no, how about you? Have you ever had a bad experience?
um, yeah, I mean, besides the actual thing where I was outed
Right.
against my consent,
Yeah.
um, I mean, most of the coming outs were fine. Most of them were good. Most of them were just like, yeah, great. I think my parents, particularly my mom, was a little bit iffy at first.
Mm.
And it was
Drag her.
drag her on the own podcast. Sorry, Dad, if you're listening to this episode of the podcast. My dad was just fine. My mom was a little bit more iffy.
Live and
And
learn.
I mean, she told me it was because like, she's Christian, so she said, I've always thought of relationships as being between a man and a woman, so it's a little bit harder for me to get there. But I mean, she got
Hmm.
there and it was fine.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it just took a little bit longer, I think, for her to come around, but eventually she did.
Yeah, I mean,
It is
I
currently
think
thunderstorming at my house right now, and I'm like,
yeah, it
hello.
was it was here earlier. Um, I feel like that's a common okay. Going back a little bit to what we said in our last episode about calling by your name and sort of the depictions of gays in media,
Right.
like there is the common uh scenes where the person comes out and you wait for the parents response because that's like the big deal, like what are your parents gonna think. And you have the scenes where it's the parents are super understanding, you have the scenes where they're not understanding, you have the scenes where it's like completely awful and they're like get out.
Yeah.
So i'm I would much rather see more of those middling responses because I feel like we know what happens at both extremes,
Hmm.
but um, understanding more about those middle lane responses and how the parents or whoever you're talking to like sort of evolves from not understanding to understanding, that needs to be explored more in media at least, because I feel like not even for the queer people to watch, but for the straights to watch, so they can understand how people should or can evolve their ideas. That's important.
Yeah, and I think that that's generally what happened. I also came out to my parents like the worst way possible too. Like, you know
Yeah,
how I
you
said I didn't
flew
do it in a
a
good
big
way?
banner, right? You had just a banner that said "I'm a
Yeah,
fag," and you were just like
I'm
waving
fag and
it.
I waved it. Yeah. No, oh my God, it was like a year after I actually was out of the closet to you, the first person. Um,
No.
it was New Year's Eve. I was drunk and I called my mom on the phone and I said, "Hey mom, I'm gay." Like, just on the phone, drunk. Not a good way to do it.
Yeah, I can hear the rain, by the way.
Yeah,
Um,
and the thunder. It might come through in the podcast. Who knows?
I think. Well, okay. I texted my mom that I was gay, but I was sober because I couldn't drink at the time,
Right.
and also didn't have any access to alcohol to drink at the time. I texted her a funny quote from a movie, a gay movie, and she laughed at first, not understanding that it was me coming out, and then I had to sort of explain
Then you
it.
had to explain.
Um, yeah, but yeah, maybe don't get drunk and come out to people.
No, definitely don't. I would say do it in person, as long as it's safe to do in person, obviously.
Right. All
Uh,
of this is underpinned by only come out if you're safe. Like
yeah,
that is the through line of this.
yeah, absolutely. I would say if you're safe, the easiest way to do it, well, not the easiest, the best way to do it for both people is to do it in person,
Okay.
sober, uh, and during a time when you can both process what just happened.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I got home that night after texting my mom, and my mom told my stepdad. I was in the kitchen, sitting on our shitty little round table that we had in our kitchen. I just was eating Cold Stone cake batter that we had in the freezer.
Ooh.
And my mom was like, my stepdad was like, yeah, whatever, like, cool, be gay. And my mom was like, just worried that I was going to get bullied and beaten up and abused in school.
But then in reality, that's what you wanted because you have an abuse kink.
Yeah, I want to get my ass beaten up,
Ah!
beat it up, catch a charge, extra large and extra hard.
Oh my goodness. I don't have
Okay.
any more questions.
Anything else you want to put forth about coming out? Your coming out in general? Anything?
I
Any
think I've
last remarks?
I think I've gone into good detail about my coming out. What about you? Did you feel like you left anything out?
Out of the closet. I mean,
What?
let me think. I know. I had a lot of. I will say, okay. Um, the whole coming to terms with the being gay thing.
Right.
I struggled with a lot. So I assigned gay to myself fairly young. Like I said, I knew when I was 10 that I liked boys, and I was like, the gay term kind of got hitched onto me when I was like 13, 14. Actually coming to terms with it though, because I came out when I was 16. So that 2 to 3 year timeline
Mm-hmm.
was awful. It was
Oh.
just awful.
Oh,
Like,
baby.
it was so much, and like, this isn't to like play to anyone's sympathy. I don't care. Empathy, if you want to empathize with this, sure. It was so much like I said, watching a lot of gay porn and then watching a lot of straight porn afterwards, hoping that it would like
Yeah, like
erase it. But also a lot of just like unhappiness that I couldn't identify where it was coming from, and then only in retrospect was able to identify it was from the dissonance between like my wanted sexuality, straight, and my clearly actual sexuality.
yeah.
Because I don't think that's something that people who straight people and cisgender people don't get it. I'm a white cisgendered man. I don't have a lot of problems. But as being gay or any part in the LGBT community, plus community, there is that clear like uh like breakage between what you are and like coming to terms with it. It's just so hard to describe to someone who hasn't experienced something like that. It's awful.
Yeah, and especially when here's what people don't understand, and I still don't understand this argument how people think that this is a choice.
Yeah.
Coming to grips with something like the fact that you're gay The reason we struggle with it so much is because we don't want to be gay, at least at first.
I think a lot of it comes from the rejection of it, you know.
Yeah, I mean, society sees, at least back then. Nowadays, it's a little bit better, but back in the day, society saw being gay as bad. So obviously, as younger people, we were like, okay, we don't want to be the bad thing because we don't want to have all these problems. We want to have a family, have kids, etc. We just want to be quote unquote normal. Obviously, nowadays we could have different feelings. Like now, I don't really care anymore about if I was gay or straight. Like I'm saying, if I could go back in time and be straight, I don't think I would, honestly, at this point.
Probably not. No, I enjoy dick way too much. Sorry.
Oh. But yeah, I think it's the whole society's perception of it in the first place that made it so difficult. So if we can get our society to not be so discriminatory against the LGBT community, then maybe more people will be likely to join us.
Because like when you grow up in this society with these norms and with these institutions, you're not even given the tools to even understand what you're feeling.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people don't even have the words to describe the way they feel when they are having this sort of cognitive dissonance between their sexuality and what they want. But anyway, so I just wanted to emphasize that time is shit. So if you're straight, first of all, why are you listening?
Why are you listening?
Second of all, if you're straight and you know someone who like just came out or is coming out or whatever, really like try to empathize with their experience, just how much they had to go through just to get to that point. And then they gotta go through it, the next hurdle, which is like dealing with the coming out.
Yeah, just getting to the point where you can even acknowledge that. And I can't even imagine what it would be like to be trans as well. Especially because that's a lot harder than, at least nowadays, than being gay. I couldn't even imagine the logical leaps like the brain would have to take to get there. Like that must be so difficult, and that's why I'm always like, we gotta back our trans allies. I mean, we gotta help them out.
I think that's it. So thank you for joining us in another riveting rendition of Fags Talking. We come out with new episodes roughly every Tuesday. Follow us on any podcast platform you listen to. Like, subscribe, comment. Make sure you follow our Twitter at WDTGT Podcast on Twitter. Follow us there. DM us. Send us nudes.
Don't send us nudes.
No. Send nudes and do like at Patrick so I know they're for me. If you're of age, I'm not soliciting minors' nudes. Please, no. I'm soliciting adult people.
I'm not soliciting anyone's nudes. Don't send nudes to me.
DM us there with anything, questions, topics, whatever. Just say hi. How'd you find us? Why are you following us? Go on YouTube. We also, of course, upload these videos to YouTube, and you can find them at What Do the Gays Think, and you can follow us, subscribe, comment there as well. Matt likes watching and looking at the comments, and he'll send me pictures of them because they're funny.
They are funny.
And we'll stream occasionally on Twitch at What Do the Gamers Think, GAYMERS. Sometimes we'll try to do more. Happy Pride to everyone. Pride, when you're listening to this, will almost be over, but we still have one more episode after this. To round out the year. We have to find out a fun topic to do. I don't know what it will be.
We'll have to find out.
So Matt, sign us out with your name.
All right. I am Mac Lubeck.
And I'm trolling gay chat rooms as a 13-year-old closeted queer, Patrick.
For some reason, I thought you were going to say, I'm soliciting minors.
No. I clearly let the record state. I said I was not soliciting anyone who's a minor. I want that 18 or older nude.
Okay. All right. Thank you, everybody, for watching and listening, and we'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye.
Goodbye.